All right, Guitar Friends, episode 34.
Dang.
My, how far we've come. Look,
Wow.
I know people are probably thinking, HW, you surely, don't call me Shirley, you surely have generated
Airplane.
another, don't say Boeing, you'll get.
Song.
HW, you can't.
What is happening? Already, you guys?
HW, you have to. What are you laughing at? It's
Nothing.
a serious matter.
It's very serious.
HW, surely you generated a new song, and to that I would say, you can't outdo perfection.
Wow.
It might be the perfect song.
It really is.
So
We should just listen to it again.
just enjoy it.
Yeah. We should enjoy it in the right time, though.
Guitar Friends is on.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you're in your car or mowing your lawn.
Shout out.
Just turn it up with Guitar Friends on.
Oh,
The greatest podcast about
You just have
guitars
to.
on.
We should generate a video for it with like, it's like a 70s video where there's like 35 people on a stage, you know?
Yeah. Soul Train.
yeah.
Guitar Friends is on. This is Guitar Friends.
Oh, chorus.
Oh, the chorus is great.
It's so good.
HW, Susan, Jon2.
You know that line's been in my head for 2 weeks.
But it's most about guitar. Unless we get distracted and talk about food or Teslas, or how annoying it is that Californians keep moving everywhere and bring their terrible
Moving is
ideas
good.
and moving their state to Nashville. But no swing guitar.
The pause before, but mostly guitar is perfect. It's like, oh, the song's over. Like, no, but mostly guitar.
So good.
Wow.
It is so good,
yeah,
and it is
that's
so
the best.
accurate. And
It's somewhat about guitar.
it's somewhat about guitar.
Yeah.
A lot of controversy on whether we should even be doing guitar content. You know, if the comments are any indication, it appears we have just as many fans who turn it off when guitar content starts,
Right.
as we do who are here for the guitar content.
It's 50-50.
50-50
Yeah.
at best. You know. Speaking
Yeah.
of 50-50, you guys voting for the felon or the dementia guy?
Wow.
Who do you got?
I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
Me neither. All I know is this. I've never felt passionately about this before, but in the interest of fairness, I strongly believe that convicted felons should be allowed to vote. Because it seems totally illogical that you could run for president
Right. And be the president.
and be the president, probably be the president according to the polls right now,
Yeah.
and not even vote for president. You know what I
can't
mean?
vote.
What are they going to do when he ceremonially goes and votes for himself? Like, don't they go in and they do it as a model? It's like, oh, everyone should vote, and they all go
Right.
in and
Here
vote.
I am voting.
He's going to...
What if he loses by 1 vote?
Headlines.
I'm not the first person who's
No,
said
no,
that.
no.
But it
That
begs
actually
the
is
question.
wild, though.
It begs the question.
Wow.
Anyway, dementia or the felon, I don't know. Which one do you want? Guitar Friends, episode 34. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, we do. We got some good comments. People chiming in.
So many
I love it,
comments.
yeah.
So many comments. Susie, you remember any of the comments?
I've got like screenshots.
Yeah.
Are we jumping in right now?
Yeah, we could jump right in the comments. People have been commenting on Guitar Friends and letting their voice be heard.
It is true.
You know?
One guy said we eat too much.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't know why people gotta...
People
Go
can be
there.
so cruel.
I just wanna say-
mean, I only cried for a little while.
I just want to say I'm down 8 pounds and I've been hitting the gym every day.
Hey, there you go.
And
So
I,
he wasn't talking about you.
Well,
yeah.
he probably
there's
was.
2 of us left. So
I have been hitting the gym, and I'm just gonna say, you shouldn't, don't be rude on the internet. You know what I mean?
I think that ship has sailed, John.
We have politicians who do that for us.
Yeah.
that seems right.
This isn't Facebook, guys. You all right? There's no need to be mean to others
Ugh.
on the thing.
I found them.
Yeah,
I was looking that whole time.
please.
Well, okay, so one of them was wooden or plastic garden furniture. Are we
I'm
doing
interested
this?
in this.
Like, what do you have? You've
So
got
I don't know.
wooden
I actually have
ones.
both. So if you
Okay.
look that way, I've got plastic. I've got wood here.
Okay.
So
I think there's a third option we're not discussing, but go on.
By the way, this is thanks to Murphy Tunes.
Murphy Tunes. He wants to know wooden or
plastic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, although we are 3 electric car driving persons, and wood is clearly the more eco-friendly choice. I'm not going to discount plastic for that reason because I think it lasts longer than the wooden stuff.
Yeah.
But
What's happening to your wood chairs out there?
well, they're just becoming weathered over time. They're not in as good a shape as they were 3-4 years ago, but they've got life left. I could go out and restain it, refinish it. In the front, I've got some plastic chairs that are very much like that are kind of an accent color on the front of the house. Harder to do that with wood. Maybe it looks a little more authentic. Wood is usually more expensive. Plastic is cheap,
Those chairs are a lot of money. Like if you get them like custom made or like some wood shop or whatever,
Yeah.
they're like $300, $400.
Yeah. But, you can go to...
They do last a long time.
yeah, they do last a long time.
Is that what Adirondack?
Yeah, Adirondack's a style. Yeah.
That's a style. Okay.
Those are kind of Adirondack-ish, but the ones in the front of my house are Adirondack chairs.
So they can be plastic or wood.
Yeah, they make them in
And
every
have
way
that
now.
name, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just that style.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
All of our
yeah.
lawn furniture is actually metal.
metal.
He didn't ask about metal.
I know.
You're like a junkie for
I really
metal.
Wow, you're like a metal junkie.
I really love metal.
How did that happen?
of all kinds. Yeah. Man, it's hard to ignore that segue, but maybe we should keep talking about furniture.
Maybe it was talk about metal. Yeah. I do send my kids now to school with we only use metal lunch stuff. We don't use plastic anymore. Sending the kids to school,
Like silverware and stuff, or like
the actual lunch boxes are all metal. So it's this metal tray.
Are they
that
working on a
opens
high-rise building in the 40s or what?
I know it think that, but
Lunch pail.
but I'll tell you what. There's a warning to everyone. You heard it here first. Plastic is going to be the new focus of people getting plastic out of their life. There's been all these crazy studies about one where they took artery plaque out of all these people's arteries, and they wanted to know what it was, filled with microplastics.
Oh, yeah.
Another one was they tested the testicles of a bunch of people, microplastics, all over. How are we getting these plastics?
How does it end up in your
into?
testicles?
Okay, well,
There's a sentence.
the thing is,
I never thought I would say that.
we know
Especially talking about furniture.
it's actually. I think it's really dangerous. I think it's going to be a big thing. They've been observing testosterone levels going down, sperm count going down for years, and now they're realizing
The plastic can't be helping.
it can't be helping.
Wow.
Plastics we know get into the body, and there's no mechanism to get it out.
Right.
So what the body does with it, we're really not sure.
We need to evolve.
Or stop eating plastic.
Oh,
we could do
okay.
that as well.
and
We've
burgers
been,
and tacos.
depending on your. Yeah, no plastic tacos. Depending on your view of the world, for 6,000 or about 6 billion years, we've been eating not plastic.
Right.
And it would seem we should not
For
start
sure,
now.
for the last 10,000 years, we've been not eating plastic.
Yeah. Now, I will say this about the plastic in the diets. I know a lot of people, they're cutting out plastic. They don't want plastic. Don't microwave plastic. I'm very sensitive to microwaving in plastic because you look at a bowl, it's microwave safe. And I go, all right, Anthony Fauci, I don't know about that.
Dang.
You know what I mean? So,
He is science.
fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. What's the George Bush quote? You get fooled once, you can't get fooled again. Now watch this drive. Right? Isn't that the thing? Okay. Anyway, you gotta. I know people are worried about that. I'll tell you how I think most people are ingesting plastic. And it's right in front of us, and I'm watching a lot of people do it, and we're acting like we don't know how plastic is getting in people. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to people's houses, here at my own house, I've picked up a plastic cutting board, and you touch the top, and it's rough and fuzzy, and because you're cutting all these plastic strands that are these long strands, and you're cutting it, and you can feel that they're cut, and you can pick little bits off. You can scratch it off. And I go, well, there's really no... We're obviously ingesting more of this plastic than we would be getting in all this microplastic. So definitely we got to stop using these. So my public service announcement would be, this is all
Get a
net.
wooden cutting board.
Yeah. Stop with don't worry about the bacteria. It's whatever bacteria you're going to ingest is no big deal compared to the plastic that you're. Just touch the top of your plastic cutting board. You should be very alarmed. Like, this is getting in your food.
I've never thought about this before.
It's not even micro.
But I use the same. We've had the same plastic cutting board.
Yes.
We're about to celebrate our 17th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations,
We've
John.
had it the whole time.
You've had 17 years.
We've
of
had
that
17
plastic.
years of me cutting
Yeah.
stuff and then picking it up and scraping it into
Yes, yes, that scrapes.
Scraping
Listen,
it in.
that's
do
why
that.
if you touch it, I bet it feels fuzzy at parts.
For sure.
Because these are the fibers that are up and they're soft, and it's. I'm telling. I'm looking around. There's all these very smart
I
people
don't
going.
feel like there's plastic inside me though.
Neither.
That's what they all say.
Neither do most women from Orange County. But it's obvious, John. It's obvious.
Dang. This is already one for the ages.
Which is already the funny thing, right? Because sometimes you run into these women, and it's a really funny thing that, like, this would even be a concern. And people are like, I don't want to get seed oils. No seed oils for me. Whole foods only. No microplastics. And then it's like,
But what about some? What about some?
fill up parts of your eye, or
What about
other
some?
parts.
What about some
Yeah.
actual poison injected into your face?
Yes,
Right.
right. This is a thing. It's already one for the ages.
Will it make me look younger though?
Are the plastic ones more comfortable to sit in than the wood
You're talking about the cutting boards?
Well,
I think
trying
you
to
went
get us
back.
on
I think
the,
you went all
Okay.
the way back
on the
to
furniture.
garden furniture.
I will say this: plastic furniture usually stacks. Wooden furniture rarely does. So all my plastic stuff stacks up. So if I want
Also-
something I can bring out and bring back in,
wintertime.
yeah,
Yeah, you
and
gotta
they're
store it.
lightweight.
They're
They're
lightweight.
super lightweight.
So we're saying plastic. It's gotten a lot of check marks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, what's like the
Mine
vibe?
really, my lawn furniture really is metal.
So you're the third option.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had it for a long time. It's lasted very well.
I'm gonna say wood if you can afford it,
Yeah.
but
All right.
plastic once you get tired of
We
wood.
have one vote for everything. I'm saying plastic. You're saying wood. You're saying metal.
All right,
Dang.
there it is.
All right. Well, there
we
you
go.
go.
There it is. We settled that.
Murphy tunes or whatever. it
Murphy
goes.
tone. What else do we got, Suze? We got anything else?
Yeah, we got some other ones here.
Mm-hmm.
What is your? Well, this one's thanks to Zach Weeks 299.
Mm-hmm.
What is your worship team member or tech booth pet peeve?
This is a good one. We're dangerously close to a guitar topic, so a lot of people tuning out right about now.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry. Sorry to disappoint on the guitar.
Dangerous.
front.
Although I feel like we could talk about this whole topic without ever saying guitar.
True.
We're just talking about pet peeves of
My
people.
pet peeve of tech booth,
Okay.
mostly like sound guys, is like just a lack of musicality
From the
In the
sound,
sound
guys.
people.
from the sound guy,
Okay.
right?
Say more.
Well, like, okay. Like in your guitar chain, right? We've talked about this before. Like your pickups matter less than the speaker, right? The further through
Yeah,
the chain,
things later in the chain.
things later
Yeah.
in the chain make more of a difference. Well, what's
Yeah.
the last thing in the chain on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, the sound guy.
It's the sound
The
guy.
volunteer sound
the,
guy.
Yeah.
the volunteer sound guy. So like all the money you spend on getting your tone set up straight and sounding
They have
amazing.
to pass. They have to pass right through his New Balances.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
and, like,
It's like he
shorts,
can make
like
a
socks.
very small change that makes a drastic effect, and
Or mute you completely.
or forget that you're on the
Right.
stage.
How are your mids now?
Yeah, exactly.
I got to admit, sometimes I go to churches and I'll listen to a mix and I'll just go, "Have you heard music before?
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
record did you like? What is your reference?
Like most
here?
of the time, you can hear like in like when you're listening to music in real life, you can hear things like the kick drum and all the instruments that are being played. I feel like a lot of churches.
Yeah.
So that's a pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest one.
I've got one for musicians in bands. It's this dichotomy of, on one hand, them saying we always do the same songs over and over again. It's the same set. Like I wish we played more songs.
Who says that?
The band members?
The band
like
members,
why don't we
right.
do this song? Or this song's a good one. Why don't we introduce this song? It's that on one hand, and then not knowing any of the songs on the other hand, making mistakes, forgetting parts. Like, do I start this song? Do you start?
Right.
That
It's like I
always-
thought you just said
It's
we do
like,
this
look,
all the time.
you can't
Right.
even play the 20 that we have on the set list
On the
already.
rotation, yeah.
But you're asking for all the, we want 50 brand new songs. It's like,
So
we'll do the first one first.
It's so true.
And then
Right.
once these are, so
Right.
yeah, it's very simple music to play, but still people can really struggle over the chord progression or the
I think that's
timing
true,
or anything
yeah.
like that. And it's like, and I think a lot of it has to do with just like, I don't know, I listened to the songs on the way to church. I forgot I was playing this Sunday. Like, it's just all that sort of like,
Yeah, there's some people that are just chronically unprepared. I play with
Yeah.
this one drummer, and I couldn't even tell you if he's good or not. I just know he's unprepared all the time. You know what
that's
I mean?
his main feature.
That's his main feature.
Yeah, right.
It's like
Yeah.
It's like he might be pretty decent.
He like walks in,
But he doesn't
He
know
walks
the
in
tune.
at call time,
Yeah.
or like
with it playing in his phone. And it's like,
That is an interesting point. You have to be prepared for me to evaluate if you're a good musician.
Yeah.
Like you could be great, like you're saying, and you just don't know the
don't
song.
know the music.
I'm
what are you
hearing
gonna-
that.
Yeah. And it's like you're
Interesting.
not playing that beat because it's the only beat you know. You don't even
Yeah.
know what to play. You know, you wouldn't even know how to nail the parts if you could.
Yeah.
I think the thing that this isn't quite my pet peeve, but you reminded me of it. But one thing that sometimes bothers me, it's one of my pet peeves, is when people are really like, they'll either say like they might say we do songs too much, you know, and it's always people in the band or in the like. I feel like there's this need to be like, we need to do fresh songs, new songs, and I always try to remind people who either work at churches or serve really closely. Maybe they're not on staff, but they're like, you know,
all
the
the time.
volunteer
Yeah.
worship pastor, whatever. I always try to remind them, like, you know, people lived an entire 6 days. Like, God created the world in the amount of time these people have just lived. They don't remember what songs you did last week. They do not. Trust me. They do not. They cannot recall.
No.
You know? They don't remember the pastor's message. They don't
Yeah.
remember that. You know
You
what
could
I
do
mean?
the same set 4 weeks in
Yeah.
a row. Most people wouldn't know.
I think most pastors would have their heart broken if they went out into the congregation before service and said, "What's the name of the series we've been on for the last 6 weeks?" I think
Right.
50% of people would have no idea. They'd be so embarrassed that they can't even think what they. And when you say it, they go, "Oh
like-
yeah, I remember."
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like, you know, I could remind you of like a scene from a movie you've seen 100 times. You don't remember it like right after that, but oh, I remember this part. Or you turn on. It's like it's there somewhere.
What series is your church in right now? I had to test it.
That was perfect. That was so great.
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Jesus?
Yeah.
I just remembered another pet peeve I have though.
Yeah.
People who like leave the iPad out the whole time and just stare at it the whole time. You know,
What do you mean? Like while they play?
Yeah, like you're playing guitar or bass or
then look
whatever.
like this the whole
Yeah,
service,
it's just like
staring down at it.
that kind of bugs me.
I don't mind it as much because it's like, well, just turn the light off on that guy. You know?
Nah, because I think what it is people. It's like a crutch. People are they're like too afraid to like try it.
There's
you
a
know?
thing about practicing when you stare at music, and then you want to stare at it when you play it.
Yep.
You memorize the
Feels
music if
better.
you look away from it.
Yeah.
But if you never look away, you won't memorize the music.
Right.
You will continually
Right.
need that thing. For sure, that's the thing. But I'm a person now, I'll tell you, in the past couple, like I just went to this church. It was a new church. System was loud. I was like, wow, this is great, you know? And I walked in, and there's a piano player there, and we had prepared this music, and we were coming in, and he went, I went, oh, a music stand. And he went, what do you think about that? And I said, I never met a church. I never been to a church I didn't like that had music. I love music stands. What I'm trying to say.
Oh.
I love music stands.
Right.
You know, give me a church with a music stand. You know, you know, I appreciate the confidence monitors and everything, but like, I'd rather be able to look down. So I bought an iPad Pro, and I have it propped on the floor next to me at all times, and I use a page turner. And so I brought it for this thing. I was playing acoustic guitar, and I have it every week. I have my page turner and my Kemper, and I just cycle through, you know?
I like it.
Fancy.
Yeah, and sometimes I put it vertical, so it's nice and big, and sometimes I even zoom up the letters, so I can see it. You know, I can see the lyrics, I can see everything. I know where I am, and I arrange the music, so I kind of always I know the arrangement on the things. A lot of times I can just get away with the sheet they give me, but I was able to just plop that thing right on the music stand.
Right on the
in front of
music
me.
stand.
Now, usually, a lot of times I'll either have it on the floor, or sometimes they'll give me a stand. And a lot of times I'm next to the drums. So that stand, because you got an iPad elevated, it's big. It's kind of distracting. But if you can put it right up on the drums, you know, he's got cymbals.
Like
and everything. You don't
blends
notice it.
in,
Yeah, it does. It blends in. And so I like being over to just glance over it. You got a fat, you know, like confidence thing right here.
You don't get a pass from me.
I dig it.
Dang, even after all that.
No, I dig it. I take it every time. Dude, I can't. This happened to me a month ago. We finish a song. I'm like, man, Jesus, that's some good worship. Song starts. I go, oh my God, a song 4. I forgot we have a 4th song.
You're walking off the stage.
I turned and walked off the I start going.
Wow.
I start going
I want to
out.
see the video of this.
Just going out.
Yeah, you know
find
that's
it.
on there.
It's
And
on
it's
there.
somewhere on there,
YouTube,
back
yeah.
couple.
I wanna
and,
see it.
and you know,
That's a pretty
and
good
it
one.
starts, and I'm like,
Sing.
I go, whoops.
That's great.
But hey, if I had the music right there, I would have seen. There's
Yeah, you
another
flip the page and you got a whole nother song.
There's another one.
right here. It happens. I'm gonna say my pet peeve though is
That's so great.
yeah. I'm actually this is my real pet peeve. I really hate this, and I'll argue with people about this. I'll tell you to your face. I'll judge you for this.
I like this.
If you're the type of person that
Strong.
feels the need in a guitar solo to put in Star Wars or one of these other songs, a Coldplay
Bon Jovi.
solo, Bon Jovi, whatever. And this is
Yeah.
all over Instagram. People think
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Right.
Look, it's something that I'm like, if you do it in practice and then it's
Yeah.
like, ha ha, nice one, dude. Right? It's
Right.
fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
It's like a joke. Yeah.
If you're doing that in the service, my real question to you would just be like, okay, explain to me how you are not just intentionally trying to joke around or have a laugh in the middle of this.
Right.
How is this not the most like,
yeah.
look at me, I just made a joke. I mean, you
Right.
might as well just pull out a clown hat or something. Like, it's so
Right.
strangely out of the ordinary.
Right.
And I know people do it and it's like clever and fun. But again, it's clever and fun for musicians.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really that clever and fun for anybody else. It's funny for Instagram. If you pull it off in a practice, ha ha ha, and you get your
Yeah.
video of it, like, ha,
Right.
cool. But if
But you have a job to do while
Yeah.
you're like up there leading worship, like that, then it's not that.
yeah, and if you're the type of person that does that 3 times because you got 3 services back to
Yeah.
back, I just go, do you have any taste at all?
Right.
How uncouth could you possibly be?
But second service needs to get the joke, John.
Right.
Just,
It's too uneven.
it's too uneven. That's really my pet peeve.
Oh man,
There's
yeah, I can get behind
there's a-
that.
that's really fun.
I have done it, and B, I also share your opinion of it.
Yeah.
now. I think it was stupid to do it. So
yeah, it's okay. You get a pass.
Yeah.
You see something on Instagram's not a good idea, you do it. We all do that. We've all
Right.
done that. Remember tech vests
No.
Tech vests.
from Old Navy? Those vests we all bought in the late 90s? They were just a thin fleece vest.
Yeah.
Tech vest.
I can
Suze, can you put it up
imagine-
here so
Yeah,
we can all
sure.
see the tech vest from Old Navy? It was one of the biggest sellers of all time. Do you want to find it on your phone so you know what I'm
No,
looking
I'd
at
like
right
to
now?
see it later in the
It's a very simple fleece vest, and
that.
everyone for just a few, like about a year, everyone was just convinced everybody would look better in one of these fleece
Were
vests.
they warming or wasn't for the warmth?
No, they're
It
very
was-
thin. No, it's not like the
Okay.
tech bro vest or the finance bro vest where it's like finance bro
Gucci.
always like warming their body, but they're ready for anything.
Did
you
you
know,
wear them?
everyone.
You
everyone
got
did.
them too?
It was like Old Navy. It
Okay.
was just huge.
I was never a vest guy.
No,
I may
Those
not
seem
have
odd to me.
actually.
you had
I'm
tech
trying
vest
to-
became it was like
I'm trying to
Old
think
Navy
of.
tech vest.
I'm trying to think of when I started wearing a black T-shirt every day.
We were young when tech vest, like junior high
Yeah.
tech vest.
Yeah, I think it may have
Like,
just.
we were
happened.
young.
So
Like
you're saying this is like the guitar version of those? Like it's like a fad that's like.
I'll be honest
not
with you.
cool?
I have no recollection how tech vest got brought up, even though I brought it up just moments ago. You see something on Instagram's not a good idea, you do it. We all do that. We've all
Right.
done that. Remember tech vests?
Wow.
But I've already moved on because
Yeah, you said
see.
it was
Yeah.
like a fad.
it was a fad. There
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
There you go.
It was popular
Mm-hmm.
and never funny.
I didn't know. I had
Right.
no. I
Hey,
had
these
no-
things are.
They just go
These
fast.
things fly by you
They
guys.
fly by. It's a very fast-paced
It's very
show.
fast-paced.
Fastest paced show on the guitar.
Last call for
Verse.
pet peeves. Any more?
No, I have more, but I don't want to offend even more people.
I don't want to offend
Yeah,
anybody.
those are the big
But I
ones.
will just say that, like, to your thing earlier, what was your pet peeve? It was about the sound guy.
Sound guy and people staring at the charts.
Yeah, I think that's a larger issue where if you think about churches, it's like a systemic issue.
Oh yeah.
It's like churches have resources and they deploy them. We got to get that worship leader looking good. Let's get him some lights. Let's put all this money in the sound system.
Right.
Let's get like this whole building. Let's treat it. Like do all this stuff. We build. I mean, churches are the best theaters to play in. Like they're the best. Every time I show up to different churches, and I'm just like, this is like pro level. We
yeah.
could broadcast this anywhere. This could go on television right now.
Totally.
This is the cameras are as good as CMA Fest. You know. And then it's like, okay, but who's going to run sound? And it's like, how about the volunteer guy with no experience?
Right.
Which is insane.
He can learn.
Like, yeah, Morgan Whalen does not like go to his dad's like bingo game and go, you ever run sound?
Right.
And just to a random person. That is kind of what we do at church. we put in all this money, and then
It's true.
almost
Yeah.
never do they really put a proper emphasis on let's get everyone trained, maybe in a professional environment. Like
Right.
let's hire some professionals to come in here and train our people if we don't want to
Well,
hire
even-
pros. Or,
Even worse is like a lot of churches have auditions for all musicians.
Yeah, singers and yeah.
You gotta prove that you can do what needs to be done before we just let you do it.
sound guy.
Does that happen for sound guys? Have you ever
No,
heard
it's-
of that?
Well, it's based
I've
on.
never heard of that.
It feels like it's based on need. The more you need a sound guy, the lower the bar goes.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, some churches have professional people, and they're great.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have some.
Some churches have professional people. They're not great.
It's true. It's true.
Indeed.
It's all over the place.
It's all over the
I get
place.
what you're
Yeah.
saying. I like what you're saying. I think what you're saying is true.
It's not in the nature of churches to be shrewd deployers of capital and resources. Those are skill sets that are highly, highly rewarded in a very specific part of the market. And those people get sucked up there.
Right.
Nonprofits tend to be the opposite side, and churches even more so the opposite side. Like, if you're a nonprofit that really competes, like let's say you're Compassion, you know, there's some other fund that also does like starving kids, right? And you've got some competition for resources, right? It's like you're competing for who gets the big donation from whoever,
Right.
Coca-Cola this year, who's the beneficiary of this and the benefit, right? And there's all that goes, right? You're trying to get a lot of money for your charity. Churches don't have this reach. They a lot of times are, you know, they're regional based.
For sure.
You know, they're pulling in the people from their community. It's not like there's, now sometimes they're part of a big thing. But, you know, you ask people who have studied the Bible their whole life, they start a church, you know, they go around, and all of a sudden, you know, you got to sort of make them like tacticians of like
Right.
capital deployment
Different
and like
skill
and
set.
also like marketing and all these things. It's just it's not the skill set, and it shouldn't be the skill set. And if it's too good, if they get too good, that's where I go like, it's Carl Lentz level stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't know who that is, but
He's the Hillsong guy who was cheating on his wife and got kicked out.
New York,
Uh,
that Hillsong.
well, now he's going to New York and probably going to start a new thing.
Oh,
Yeah, look up Lentz. Yeah, he's a anyway.
Yeah.
interesting.
There's a level, you know, Joe Rogan pointed out. It's like where your trunks on your swim trunks get so low that it's like
I like where this is going.
Joe Rogan was like, nah, that guy's no. I'm not going to even say the word he said, but he was right. He pointed out months before the scandal. He was just like, that is not how you work out and wear your swim trunks when you are a happily married man of God. I don't know what that guy's doing right
I
now,
see.
but he's gotten in way too good a shape.
Right.
The trunks are
There-
so low, it's almost illegal.
There
you know,
are
and it's
there
like,
are signs.
there are signs.
There are signs.
There are signs. And then, okay, anyway, this is one for the ages, guys. Sorry.
It really is.
No, it really.
People
HW's in a mood today.
people
so-
are going to be like, this is the last time I ever suggest a
Yeah.
topic.
right. That's so true.
You got to call it like you see it. You know,
I
the
agree.
world is
Yeah.
dark and full of terrors.
Okay, we had one about. I'd like to hear more about the musical projects and bands you've been in.
Oh, fun.
Maybe this can be a proper segue into Metal Junkies, because I would like to know.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Suze, you want to?
Sure.
Suze, what metal bands have you been in?
I have been in 0 metal bands. No, I think my first band was in high school. You know, like we were called Jimmy Rig,
Jimmy Rig.
and we wrote songs. We made a little EP, and we played live.
That's a good name for a band.
Yeah, it was a
Jimmy
good
Rig.
band. It was a garage band with all like, you know, we're all seniors in high school going like, dude, we're gonna write songs and like be a band, you know. And then we all graduated and we never talked to each other again.
Sure.
So, but it was fun.
The age-old story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you moved on and I moved on, and
You're right.
let's see. College, I was in like a kind of like an acoustic rock band. I played drums.
Was Dave Matthews big at the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Goo Goo Dolls.
Yes. It was basically
played
those-
drums.
I was a drummer for that band. Yes.
Have you ever heard Suze play drums for real? It's actually very
Maybe not. No.
He's very good. He
I
won't.
was only a drummer when I got to
He
college.
wouldn't say
Suze,
it.
you told me that piano was your main instrument or primary instrument or first
yeah, I took
instrument
piano lessons for years and years. Yeah, played
before
piano.
the drums.
It was piano first, then drums, then guitar was last. I didn't learn guitar till college, basically. Yeah.
Everyone's collectively going, that's why he
That's
plays
why.
guitar this way.
You know what that's like?
Rhythm,
Yeah.
so much rhythm. You know,
Yeah.
drums.
Who's the guy who
Yeah.
does the woodshed? Andy. He has the Sir signature. Telly.
Wood?
Andy Wood. Is that Andy Wood? Yeah, woodshed. That's why he does that. And he got kind of big
Oh, I
being
see what
a
he
Nashville side man, and he does. One of his big gigs was playing for who's the guys who sang on the Cars movie? Life is a highway.
Oh,
Rascal Flatts.
yeah, there you go.
And
That's a great song.
he has a very unique style in the way that you have a unique style, but it's because he's a fiddle player first.
Thinks about it differently.
Yeah, or a mandolin player. He's a mandolin player, and he played the mandolin, I think, for his whole childhood going up, and then sometime his late teenage years, I think he picked up a guitar.
Yeah.
And so he plays different. You know what I mean? Like his right hand technique, just the way he plays is. You could tell it's like that's strange.
Right.
That's cool. Yeah, so it was fun. It was also didn't go anywhere, but we wrote songs and
Sure, Jimmy Rigg.
Jimmy Rigg. That was a high school one. The college one, man, I can't remember the name of that band, but it was fun. Same kind of thing. Like we all just like went separate ways. Yeah. And then after that, it was like all church, man. I never did like tours. I was never on the road.
Yeah.
Never really played like in a proper band. I played in a cover bands. Did you ever see our cover bands?
No.
You never came
I
out?
never came out.
We were, what was it called? Southern Caliber.
Southern Caliber.
And that was in Orange County, LA County. And yeah, we played, bars and stuff.
Yeah,
And
like country
then
stuff, huh?
Country covers, yeah. And
Yeah.
it was like
Southern
who knew
Caliber.
Who knew that LA
What
had
was
the-
your rig?
I played a couple pedals into a solid state Vox Pathfinder.
How big was the speaker on that Pathfinder?
It was an 8-inch speaker.
How many compliments did you
Oh,
get?
dude, people came up to me all the time. They're like, dude, that's a cool AC30. What is that? I was like, get closer. You'll see how small it is.
mini.
Well, yeah,
It's
when you
mini.
get
It's
up
not.
there.
It's an optical illusion.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
realized
oh,
you're at
man,
the back of the room.
Dude,
but-
your guitar tone is sick.
yeah. That's not an AC30.
Wait, did you ever play the Ranch?
Yes, totally. Yeah.
In Orange County?
Yeah, in
yeah,
Anaheim.
Yeah,
we played
that
there a
place
lot.
is-
Yeah.
Did you play there a lot?
And then
because
we
that's like the
play-
big line dancing place, right?
All these places were
All
line
these-
dancing.
were they all like that?
Oh,
yeah.
the line dancing community in LA was
Was
It's
big.
actually
massive.
insane.
I
Did
had
you know
no
that's?
idea.
Did you know
Yeah.
that's where we did the first annual dinner with HW?
Yeah, the ranch. Yeah,
the Ranch.
yeah. There was a massive place
Annual,
in
it's never
San
happened
Diego.
again.
I know. I was going to say, you mean the only dinner with HW? We didn't do one last year when we went to NAMM.
I like to think of it as semi-annual.
If it happens again, then
It's every 4.5
right.
years.
You need at least 2 of them.
Only on election years.
yeah, only in election years.
That's how you know. Other than that, it was mostly churches after that, and I mean, we released and wrote a lot of music at Fellowship Bible Church, which was my last church I was at, and that's when I really got into like more production and like working on tracks and like recording and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. John was on one of those. We did like one of our EPs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Um,
I played rhythm.
yeah, it was fun. We had a good group, and
That was fun.
And then, yeah, I play a lot of Tone Junkie now. That's what I find myself doing now. But that's
Yeah.
it for bands.
John, please tell us.
Oh, man.
You were in. Wait, I'll go next. 'Cause we'll get right. Well, this will bring us into metal.
sure,
You want to
yeah.
get your more metal guitar out, by the way, while I do this thing.
No,
So
I like this one.
you
This
want
one's
this?
pretty metal.
Why not? Let's do that. That's a very metal
You
guitar.
want this guitar?
Do you want to put that away? No, never mind.
What is going on right now? We're about to learn about HW's bands.
Yeah, well, I don't have let's see. I started playing the git fiddle. I don't know, high school sometime, and then learned a lot of church stuff. And I was at this really unique church. You could find. Go ahead. And I could find. There's all these videos of me doing this very strange music. This church had us do a lot of covers of stuff. That whatever they thought was poignant or whatever.
Was that to be relevant to the community?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. This was a church in San Francisco that like the Chronicle wrote up in like 99 and called it Church of the Pretty People, where true religion meets true religion genes. And it was this whole write up on tech culture and the resurgence of Christianity and being cool and all this stuff. And they did a couple records that I was on with them. One called Live in San Francisco in '98. I was a kid playing on that. They let me play on a couple parts. And then another one I think called, it was like the part 2 to that. We took some of the old recordings and did some new ones. Can't remember what it's called, but it's called Cornerstone in San Francisco. And then on YouTube, there's a ton of stuff of me doing that. That's kind of where I learned to play with a band, you know, like learning music, learning songs, learning a record, showing up playing. And it's a great way to learn because you end up playing with there was a big rotation of people. And I was playing with all people who were way better than me because these guys were all great. And for whatever reason, you know, I was just a young kid and they knew me and stuff. And they let me play there. I got some guys together from there, some of the younger guys, the new like crop that kind of came in. And we started a band more out of like, we wanted to play different stuff, you know, that we weren't always getting to play. Because, you know, you play at church all the time and, you know, there's a certain style you get to play and certain style you don't get to play.
Right.
And, you know, I was doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I was wearing bow ties and, you know, at one point me and the other guitarist, we both, like I wore a red bandana.
Crazy
he wore
stuff.
a blue one. And they were like, yeah, this is like a gang neighborhood, man.
Right.
There were shootings in this neighborhood. So that was a bad idea. And
Admittedly. That was
I
terrible.
see that now.
I see.
it was a
You're
bad
older and
idea.
wiser now.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. But that was where I remember one time bringing in this giant amp. I had bought it's like that one in the corner, the Bandmaster, the silver-faced Bandmaster with the giant cab, and I brought that in. I remember the worship leader was like, do you really need an amp that big? I was like, dude, the big cab really makes a difference in the bass response and all this stuff. And they kind of put up with me. And I remember I brought in a Marshall half stack. And and it was one of 2 amps. I brought in 2 amps for my 2-amp rig.
Oh, wow.
I also brought in a Fender amp on the side.
For your clean tone.
Yes, and I had an AB box switching between them. Sure. And but you know, I had a guitar solo that I just felt like the lead channel of this DSL was really necessary for.
Yeah. Serving the
And
song.
Serve the song.
Yeah.
And I was willing to do it, man. You know,
great.
you ever stuff a Marshall half stack and a Fender like combo into a '98 Corolla? Like it's a challenge.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how much gas I burned just probably
You
trying
got
to get
to
to church?
really believe in your tone.
You got to believe in it, dude. I've told this story too before. I went to Guitar Center one time. I bought that PRS that's up there, my PRS single cut kind of thing. I bought that and a Mesa Lone Star Special amp. Man, I think that was $2,600 and the other thing was $2,500. And you know, the bill was over $5,000. I bring it out to my car. The car wasn't even worth $5,000.
Right.
And the guy helped me in the car. He like commented. He's like, "Yep, that's a
musician for you.
right there." Yeah. Just the world's worst Corolla. Anyway. So anyway, we started a band and I started playing bass because we didn't have a bass player. So, but I was playing bass like a guitar player, you know? So it was like a little busy, but we didn't have a guitar player. Well, we did. It was just a lead singer, but he was like kind of playing, he was just mostly playing rhythm stuff. So it was me, the keyboard, drums, this guy, and we were writing some songs and it was cool. And then we got a bass player and I moved to guitar. And that band was called Inner Sunset. We played around the city and stuff. And we did a bunch of stuff. And I remember we were having trouble getting gigs and it was like my job to get us gigs. And I told I got us to play at this place called the Makeout Room. And we always had a really good, and the Makeout Room is a place where it's every night is New Year's Eve. So every night they do a New Year's Eve countdown.
The countdown there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also have all of these like moose heads and chandeliers and women throw their bras up there. And so this place is covered in bras. So, you know, I was like, hey guys, we're headlining the Makeout Room. You know, I tried to get everyone to come. So everyone came, all the pastors in my church came, and everybody, we just sold the place out, like packed. And the Makeout Room people were like, what? Who are you guys?
Yeah.
Like, but I was like, this is everyone I know.
They're doing me a favor. Yeah, they're coming
You're
out.
like, we're a big deal.
Yeah. And they were like, whoa, you know, like, this is crazy. That's funny. And I remember, we played, and I was like, I called this band who was like, I recently saw on TV. And I was like, hey, we're playing the Makeout Room. We need an opener. Our opener fell through. That was a lie. I was like, we're planning for a sold-out show. Also a lie. But they came and played, and they brought a bunch of people, too. Huh. And it worked out. I forget their name. They were brothers. Anyway, did a record with them. I think it's on Spotify. And the band's called Inner Sunset. And it's good stuff.
That's funny.
And then, I don't know. I don't know. I did some more stuff after. You know what I mean? You do some church records. I moved here and started playing this church house group, and they did 2 records, one of which I'm not on, but I'm in the credits, which is fun.
Oh, interesting.
Because I played live, then they redid all my parts. That was about 6
So
months.
your parts are there.
That was about 6 months after moving here.
Okay.
Well, no, I think they made new parts. It was.
Just your name is there.
It was. I had not really started playing at the church yet.
That's really funny.
But the 2 guys who played all the time, one of them was like couldn't make it to the live recording.
Oh, okay.
And the way they did these live recordings is basically a glorified click track.
Yeah.
So like almost everything gets redone.
Yeah.
The drums get kept, but some of them kind of get redone.
Sure.
What and then everyone's redoing stuff. But
Right.
what you did arrangement wise, you practice for it and do it.
Yeah.
And so they came in and just redid all my guitar parts.
Yeah.
But I was there. for
Like
that
go to
stuff.
guitar, Command A, delete.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, let's start over.
I'm pretty sure not a note of me is on there.
Right.
But all the records after that, I was like one of the only guitar players there, which was fun. And that's and I still do that, and it's super fun. Yeah.
That's cool. John?
Also, I started like profiling the world several years ago. That's what I tried to do.
That took all your band time.
took all your band time.
And then you bought 400 amps.
But my proudest moment is still the Makeout Room.
Yeah, that's a
That show was so. I remember that was like the peak. I tore my pants on the stage and then tried to hide it the rest of the night, like big tear in the crotch.
yeah. That's a core memory.
Yeah, and then packed it all up. Drove the big white van with no windows to Taco Bell. Ate. Got to bed late at night.
So good.
I just thought it'll never get better than this.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Plateaued.
You've peaked.
That's it, man. Downhill.
It's
You couldn't have imagined that you'd be profiling the world at that point in time.
no. I thought at best I'll like do this again, but we'll be able to afford like whatever we wanted from the Taco Bell menu.
No moderation.
We'll have money left over.
because
for
we were
Taco
I was
Bell.
broke back then. Like, I was a really broke young guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
I
didn't
mean,
want to get a job.
college. Yeah, we were all. I mean, I was broke. Gosh.
For sure.
It's good to be broke. You got to be broke for some years because you learn how to be
yeah.
broke.
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah.
Because now you're at this, and now you got family, you got to provide for them and everything.
Right.
You're not broke. You just have no money, so you're broke. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have the money and you spend the money.
You have the money, it's just other
Right.
people spend the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine if it was just you and what you make.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It'd be different.
I'd have a yacht. Right?
I mean, probably.
Just add up all the...
Yeah, because it's probably like multiply your salary times 3.
How long have you had the kids in private school?
2 years.
Now do the math.
Oh no, I do the math constantly.
All the time.
I can't stop doing the
Can't
math.
stop. I wish I could stop doing the math.
I think
My brain won't let me.
The real fortune is like every time I've ever gone to Chipotle, the bill has been like $45 to $80. It could have been 12 or 13 every time.
Right.
It's just a different.
That's a good metric.
It's something about
yeah.
when the family walks in the door. It's like the bill multiplies.
Right.
I want to be clear that we are not talking about food. We're talking about finances.
Yeah.
When we say
Financial
Chipotle, the
conversation.
algorithm's going to think we're talking
Yeah,
about food
we're not
again.
talking about food.
I mean,
this
we're
is
gonna
money.
talk about food.
we're not even
Eventually.
talking. Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
the economic side of guacamole.
Right.
Right.
This is like all the way from east to west.
Yeah.
I was in a band
Really?
called East West.
Really? Why didn't you tell us about it?
Really? Well, that wasn't the first band I was in. I was in a band in high school. We were just kind of like a local
Yeah.
band, but it was how do I explain this? There's some friends from church that were in a band together. And yeah, it was really fun. We wrote our own music and we recorded it. We made 2. Did we make 2 albums or just 1? I think we made 2. We made like an EP. We like pooled our own money together, bought a studio for one night,
I love that.
and just like
You have to nail the parts.
cranked it
Right.
out.
You got to go fast.
We went so fast.
That's so good.
And then, yep. And then we did another one. But the guy, I don't know. We were like, we're going to be here all night. It's like, studio time. It's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be cool. And the guy was like, I need to get out of here like as soon as possible.
Right.
Like
Is
the
his
engineer.
name Bob?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I remember you telling me about Bob.
Then that's when we found Bob.
Okay.
So then we worked with this producer guy named Bob. This guy
He was a
was
real Piece of work.
So we were all like teenage kids, right?
Yeah.
Like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And Bob, this guy's like probably in his like late 30s or something. And he's like very obviously, you know how Ozzy Osbourne was like so strung out for so many years
Right.
that like he couldn't be a normal person
Kind
anymore.
of perpetually
Yeah.
strung out.
Yeah.
That's how Bob is.
I see.
And he was just like, but he was so brilliant.
Yeah.
And like, he also wasn't, he gave us a lot of like tough advice, you know,
Yeah.
where he actually one time he made us, he made us set up at the church we went to and perform for him, just him.
A true audience of one.
True audience of one.
Wow.
And he was like, stop. You can't walk like that. When you walk across the stage, like when you're walking with a guitar on, like you don't walk like that.
So
walk like this instead.
He was producing like the whole package.
He was producing the whole thing.
Interesting.
And it was like really, really valuable
And
advice.
needed, yeah.
Yeah, very needed.
Wow.
And so I think that actually, I mean, it helped a
yeah.
lot.
What was the name of that band?
That band was called Gone Hazel.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, we made a record, but like this was in like, I don't know, maybe the year 2000.
Right.
So there's no like, there was no like streaming, no digital,
Yeah.
anything. It was all CDs. And so
Right.
we like burned the CDs ourselves.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was
We
it.
went to our church. They had a CD burner because they would put all the music for all the worship team on different
Yeah.
CDs.
It was like a tower, like
yeah,
10
and
at
we
a time
just
or
stood there
whatever.
and did it like
Yeah.
all night.
Yeah, we did it at our drummer had one of those.
And
He
like the
bought one.
label maker that
Yep.
had the little, it guides the sticker on.
Totally, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember we actually saved up even more money. We booked ourselves a tour around California. We actually went on tour in
that's
between
a
my
big-
junior and senior
Yeah.
year.
That's a big differentiation.
Yeah.
If you tour or not.
we went on a tour
Yeah.
and we had saved up enough money after that we actually ordered real CDs that were like shrink. And I remember being so excited that they were shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
Because when you burn your own CDs,
Yeah.
they're not shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
they're in the really thin cases because
Yeah.
the thick cases are too expensive.
Yeah.
They snap together and they kind of like don't always work.
And so we were so excited that we
Yeah.
had like real CDs.
It's like making it.
yeah.
That's incredible.
But so then that producer, Bob, also produced another band called East West. And the guys in the band, so we were kind of like our lead singer would play an acoustic guitar sometimes. And like, you know, so it was kind of that vibe. That's why I said like Goo Goo Dolls, like that. We were kind of like that vibe. But the guys always made fun of me for being a metalhead. Because I was like, they're like, what do you want to listen to? I'm like, Deftones? Can we put on Deftones? And they're like, no, man.
Huh.
I'm like, can we put on Metallica? Can we
Right.
put on Korn? Can we put on anything that's not
So they were like an existing band before you got there.
East West?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't doing the type of music that y'all
No,
would
they
later do.
were.
Okay.
No. The band I was in, Gone Hazel,
Oh,
was
oh.
like Goo Goo Dolls,
I got you.
like that kind of thing.
Okay.
And oh no,
You're good. We'll
we're not
change
going to
it.
want that one, but yeah. But yeah, so then I was over at our producer's house and I was like, hey, I heard that East West guitar player left the band. I was like, let them know. I know you know them. Let them know if they need
Right.
someone to fill in, I'll fill in for them.
Yeah.
And I did. And then they invited me to go on tour.
Right.
And that was my senior year. So I dropped out of high school to
I didn't
go on
know
tour
that.
with them. Yeah.
Wow.
6 weeks before graduation.
That's so metal.
And they were a metal band.
They were actually a metal band.
Yeah, wow.
Well, I always used to say we were actually pretty eclectic, but I mean it was early 2000s, right? So it was like Korn was really big. There was a lot
Right.
of like rapping going on.
New metal.
New metal.
New metal.
Yeah.
And new metal.
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park was
Limp
massive.
Bizkit.
Massive.
Limp Bizkit. Yeah.
Limp Bizkit. Yeah.
But there was some big stuff. Like, who's the guys that play the pieces of Jets?
Slipknot.
There you go.
Wow.
Right?
Surprised you knew that.
Pieces of Jets.
Don't they do that?
I mean, I think they have a guy that bangs on like kegs or trash cans or something.
Yeah, he gets some metal from somewhere.
Yeah. They actually have a new drummer.
Really?
Yeah, they
And does he play on like electric cars?
Oh my gosh.
no, but he's insane. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Slipknot's new
East
drummer.
West.
East
So
West.
yeah, so then I toured really hard with East West for I don't know 2.5 years, 3 years. Made exactly $0.
Did you have fun?
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't you like go to Europe and stuff?
yeah, we went everywhere.
Yeah.
It was great.
Best time of your life.
It was the best of times. And
Did anyone make any money on
worst-
East
the
West?
worst of times? It really was. Did any of us make any money
No. Did anyone make money on East
in the
West?
band?
Or out of the band?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, because so we were on this like small record label, and they were like we were the most successful band on the label. And so we were like funding a lot of the other projects. So not even the
see.
label made money on us.
I see.
Because they were like, yeah. So, yeah. And then like just kind of fizzled out,
Yeah.
you know. I left the band and then they went on one more tour and then we played a couple more shows. They're like, hey, come with us. I'm like, okay.
My favorite story, it might have been from those days that you told me, was that you would be in the middle of a show and the bass player would like come over to you and be like, how do you play this song?
The very, very last show we ever played was at a music festival in San Diego at the Del Mar Raceway. Super nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're literally on the stage about to start playing. And the bass player walks up to me and he's like, how does the first song start? And I was like, see, this is why we can't be a band. This is why this is probably going to be our last show ever.
Yeah. These are your songs.
Yeah, these are your songs. You wrote the part.
But have you ever been like, wait, how does this song start? Have you ever felt that way?
Yeah.
Like you can't recall?
I do,
He's
but
coming to you.
it's like at that point in time too, they had been playing and
Right,
I
right,
was
right,
coming
right.
back in,
Right.
and I had not played with them in like a year. I'm like, why are you asking
Why are
me?
you asking me?
You should know this.
You should
So listen,
know
I'll
this.
tell you, there was this, I one time had this one, sometimes every now and then you can forget something, but then all of a sudden you hear it and you go, oh, right.
Yeah.
And you could like miss a chord, but whatever. This one time, the whole band were all playing do 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 do, and then it's supposed to stop, and it's just guitar going bum 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 bum, and then the whole band comes back in, right? And we're playing. I go like this. What the hell's the next part of this song? And so I go, well, you just hang back for a second. It was the one part of the song I was supposed to be playing.
That's you.
by
That's your
myself.
moment. Yeah.
I stop. We stop, and the whole band looks at me, and I go, "Oh right, down, 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 down," and so I get it. Sometimes you just forget a part, you know.
Did you get the feeling like he thought that for every song that you played, though?
Yeah. I mean,
And this
I'm only
one?
going to say this because I know there's no chance of
Right,
him
he'll
listening,
love it.
him watching this. But when we were in the studio, the second time we recorded, the producer came out and he's like, "Do you think you could play all these bass parts? Like, this is taking way too long." And I was like, "This guy already doesn't like me, I don't think. So I'm not going to like also play his parts."
Right. What are you trying to do to us?
What you're trying to do? This band is hanging on by a thread. And now you're asking me.
Yeah. He's like, I know.
He's like, I know, I can see this happening. Yeah.
Wow. Were you going to tell us the story of how you got into metal? You started to tell me, and then
I don't
the
know.
first time.
Oh yeah, the first time I remember the first. Do you guys remember the first time you ever heard metal, like heavy metal music?
I think it was you showing me like 2 years ago. Going like, wow, I didn't know music got this heavy.
Well,
so
okay.
insane.
How did this is a great segue. So we obviously we've done this metal junkie stuff. We've put it out.
Right.
So explain to us your love for the dark arts.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, if you've heard the demos that I've written
Yeah.
to like demo, you know, these packs and stuff.
They're mostly what I imagine would be on Malfoy's iPad or iPhone when he's like warming up to like
for sure.
try to destroy Harry.
There you
in
go. Yeah. When I write music, like this is just what comes out. This is
Yeah.
like everyone has the tone that they're hearing in their head.
Right.
Mine sounds like that.
Yeah.
What were you going to say when you first listened to metal, though?
When I first, so I remember my sister was a cheerleader and in high school. I was in like 8th grade, maybe 7th grade.
Okay.
And I had gone to a basketball game a high school basketball game because she was cheerleading, and the song "Wherever I May Roam" by Metallica was playing as the varsity football team was coming out, and I was like, "What is this music?
Oh, wow.
This is the greatest music I've ever heard." And that, I mean, this was like, I don't know, the other current music that was happening was like November Rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
Green Day, Dookie was popular.
Yeah.
Like, so Metallica was like just another level. I was like, this is it, man. I want this sound all the time.
Yeah.
Forever.
Did you have to ask someone like, who is this?
My friend's older brother I knew was like listened to a lot of metal, and it took us a while to find it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it starts really. How do you explain it? You know what I mean? And you don't know who the
You
band
can't stick
is.
your phone up and be like, what song is this?
Yeah,
There was no whatever.
yeah.
that
There was
is.
no Shazam. There was none
Yeah.
of that. It was like, I don't even know. Like, think about it. I was like, it's a really good metal song. I don't even know how to. It's like,
Yeah.
and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, it took a while to find, but we found it.
But you found it.
And then I remember when I was like, I don't know, I had a job when I was 16 working at a restaurant. I think the Metallica's Black Album, I just remember listening to it driving back and forth from work. I think Metallica's Black Album was in my truck CD player for like 3 years straight.
Right.
Wow.
That was like, that's all I listened to. So anyway, it started young.
Well, what do you want to
Still
pull up
going.
here? What do you want to pull up? And then we'll talk about it.
It's called the Boogie MK7 is what it's called. That's like the pack. Gosh, that actually sounds really good.
Do the little batter. Do that. I said it last time. I'll say it again. It sounds like my baby screaming into a microphone, learning how to talk.
That's what people are
into
here
a
for.
boogie. That's what people are. That's what people are here for. John, we obviously put out all the metal junkie stuff.
Yeah.
How did this happen? How did we get here?
It's actually, I don't remember. I don't remember all the details.
How did we metal junkie?
I think I said to you at one point in time a long time ago, I think you're missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
You should have like a metal version. Because people
Sound
ask
like
you,
my parents, John.
people ask you like,
Yes.
hey, why don't you had the Mesa Boogie Mark 7. There's a lot of metal
ask,
tones
yep,
you missed
yep.
here.
High gain.
Yeah. Did you know I only make clean tones?
It's been leveled many times.
So a lot of people have been saying for years. I'm not sure what they're listening to.
Right.
One time I've done several Marshalls, cranked them to 10, and I'll have people comment, "Why did you only do it clean?" I'm just like, I don't know if I'm not understanding something or if you're not understanding something, but
I think it just has a lot to do with like, I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with the guitar you're using to when you're dialing.
100%.
You know what I
Pickups
mean?
are a huge thing.
It's a big thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
A huge thing. Because I even recently bought this, kind of with this in mind, and this makes a huge difference. And this isn't even like metal pickups. These are just more rockin' modern pickups.
I love that guitar.
You know,
though.
it's a great guitar.
Yeah.
But
yeah. How did I think I had said that, and you're like, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be interesting. And then it was like maybe a year had gone by.
yeah.
And so,
That's how it always goes.
yeah.
I had an idea.
But I don't know. I think I got into writing music like at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Right? It was
Yeah.
like
I
I
remember
bought
that,
these
yeah.
guitars.
Yeah.
I wanted to,
Well, you had, of course, written music before.
Oh, yeah, but it was
you
like
know what I mean.
I had
But you were
start-
like, I'm going to start doing some demos and like really make
yeah,
stuff.
sorry,
Yeah.
started writing music again
I think
Yeah.
it started when you got the drum set.
20 years later.
When you
Well,
started
yeah.
playing drums, it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
because remember you sold all your guitars, and it was kind of like you were
No,
going.
I was really
downhill.
down.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you still had.
You had like 2,
I was down to like 2 or
Yeah.
3 at one point.
right? But then you got a drum set, and then you bought like 10 more guitars.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, he's back.
Yeah. But like
Yeah.
you kept the telly around, you were playing some church stuff.
Yeah.
But you were like Icarus. You flew too close to
I
the
flew
sun.
too close to the sun. I don't know what that means, but
Sounds
I
good.
definitely I don't know how that relates.
You said to me
but
at some point. You said to me at some point. You were like, don't people want metal stuff from you? And I was like, yeah. People
Right.
want a lot. People want everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
People of all. I get a lot of Tone Junkie would get a lot of requests that was like, hey, can you do like a Mezzabara this? You know, I'd get non-ironically, can you do a Randall Satan?
Right.
And I'd just be looking at these comments going like, of all people,
it's a real
I'm supposed to do, you want me to do this, you know?
right.
And so you and I started chatting about this, and this started where you came over and you said, hey, I want to make some stuff, and I really want to do it with like a more metal voice.
Right.
And I was like, I think that'd be great. What are you thinking? And we started chatting about what this could look like. And the first thing we did was we got together and we sort of made some IRs. We took some IRs and we sat down with like, did we bring amps?
Yeah, it was the Mesa Boogie Mark 7.
Yeah, the 7 and I guess that was the amp we really looked at.
That was the amp
But
we
I started
did
pulling out cabs. I was like, okay, here's my Mesa 212 V30.
Right.
Here's my, I think we did like an old Marshall
the
cab,
Marshall,
you
and
know,
then the orange also.
and the orange, right? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, let's mic this. And so I started looking at, you know, how the metal guys mic their stuff. You know, It's time to put away some of the old Tone Junkie favorites in terms of, you know, how I was doing things.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of went for a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't want to say direct, but it's a quick attack. It's just more, you know, that, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of like dynamic sound,
Right.
I would say. And so we made those IRs, and then, and that was like the start. And then you started doing amps and using these IRs for different stuff. The plan's to kind of do more IRs, I think, and more amps
Yeah.
and everything.
Well, yeah. So the way that I'm making the profiles though is a little bit different than the way you make them.
Yeah.
So the way I make the profiles is that I'm really only capturing direct signal from the amp.
Yeah.
So I think it's really common for people to kind of bring their own IRs, especially with
Sure.
at least what we're finding with heavier tones and
Sure.
stuff.
Sure.
And so, you know, my family is thankful that they don't have
Yeah.
to listen to.
But everything has everything. You're capturing a lot of direct, but everything has IRs with it when
Yeah.
it goes out. Obviously, there's some directs, but
Oh,
you're
yeah, yeah.
capturing the amps direct. And then using an IR to
Yeah, like
get
all the
capture out
Kemper
of it.
profiles have that.
Yeah.
The Mesa Boogie or the Mesa Boogie 212.
So if people want to you can basically treat them like merge profiles,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is not usually something I do.
No,
If you want to defeat the cab on the stage, use a real cab
Yep.
for sound. You can easily do that. You can easily send the cab to
Yep.
front of house, or you can just
Or you
defeat
can
the
swap
cab
out a
yourself.
cab for your own cab
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. Change all the
But
IRs,
they're,
whatever.
They're playable out of the box, and then, you know, if you have a powered Kemper, it's
Yeah.
easy peasy. Same thing with Quad Cortex and Tone X.
Yeah.
So they kind of the Tone X presets ship with a with that same IR,
Yeah.
and then they're like applied to all of the captures, but you can easily swap it out for whatever you want
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're the 3 packs we have the Mesa Boogie Mark 7, which is a beast of an amp.
Yes.
That, man, when I was profiling it too, I think I may have mentioned to you, I was like, man, there's 9 channels on this amp. There's really kind of only 7 because the clean and the fat are the same on both, but
Yes.
there's like 7 channels on this amp, and they all kind of sound the same. But then after my ears had some time to recalibrate,
Yeah.
I was like, man, each of these amp sound, like these channels,
Yeah.
have their own character to it, and I've actually grown to enjoy the amp more.
Right. The more you play it.
The more I play just around the profiles, that's usually my go-to. The other one we have is the EVH 5153 50-watt version, the EL34 version.
Yeah.
My gosh.
It's all the gain in
you
the
guys,
world.
this
Like
amp,
all of the gain in the world.
this amp has more gain than all of your
Yes,
amps
all
in
the
the
amps
room
combined.
combined.
Like if you put them in front of each other, it's like
it's
amp, amp, amp.
insane
Yeah.
how much gain this amp has. And so that was a fun experience,
Yeah.
trying to kind of capture that well. But
Yeah.
it also, it's cool. It has like a resonance knob, which is like a depth knob almost.
Yeah.
It's like a
Which
good,
can get really
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 beefy,
low in the low.
really,
yeah, yeah.
really boomy.
really deep in the low end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did your modded,
The modded JCM
the
800.
JCM 800. Which, I mean, obviously has a different vibe than the other ones. The other ones are sort of like really geared to be high gain amps,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
That one is, it just doesn't have the sort of modern high gain take to it.
Yeah, it's a modified Marshall from like the late '80s when that was the thing going on. That was in the early era of like we want way more gain out of the amp,
Yeah.
and how can we do that? Cascading gain stages, early
Right.
thing, and
If you're doing like Iron Maiden,
Yep.
if you want to play along with Iron Maiden stuff, or you want to play along with kind of any kind of Def Leppard or
yeah,
anything
I'd say
like
it's like
that.
a more of a hair metal amp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was big in that time. It was Paul Gilbert's amp. He played one of those.
Yeah.
Eddie, we know at least owned one. I don't know if it's on Eddie recordings, but he
Mm-hmm.
at least owned one. I think Whitesnake has that amp
Yeah.
on a ton of stuff. There's several
sure.
like hair bands of the 80s
So
that have those.
It's got a lot of gain. It's got tons of gain. But it's a lot more mid forward
yeah.
than the other guys.
Yeah.
So that's what we're starting with. We've got plans to do a whole lot more.
And it's on Kemper, Quad Cortex,
and
Tonex.
Tonex.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really different. I mean, these are not things I would have created had I tried. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I just, John, can you just make these? I don't have time.
Right.
It's I wouldn't have come up with this stuff. It's not. It just people have asked me for years, like, why don't you do more of that? And it's just I'm not like well versed in this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have a real appreciation for how like, this pre-top boost AC30 sounds compared to this post-top boost
Well-
or with the kit. I'm just not in the other world.
And the difference, I mean, you know, all joking aside, it's no, I don't know. You guys don't love listening to metal like I do, and so you don't have like the hours spent listening to all of the different nuances and all of the different. It kind of sounds to the outside. I think it can sound like very much the same over and over, but there's actually a ton of variation into it.
Yeah.
So much so that I almost didn't want to call it Metal Junkie because it's like, I don't know, we're going to start a war with like, is it, what kind of metal? You know what I mean?
Well, that's always a thing. Right.
But I think it's like, a good term for it. I'm happy about.
No, it's
the way it all
it's
turned
a
out, so.
proper like brand extension where it's like obviously like Tone Junkie does what it does, and this is kind of
it's its own thing for sure. So we may do the same amps in the future again.
Yeah.
Right. Where I have just a completely different. I mean, and there's honestly over the years, there's been times where I'm like, I would approach this amp way differently.
Yes.
You
I know
what
you've
mean?
voiced that to me over the years. You've voiced it to me.
Now you can get both.
So have a lot of
I
other,
can
so
get
have a lot of
both.
other people. But look, I mean, there's just stuff that I'm not gonna ever, that Metal Junkie's gonna get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, people will be seeing Metal Junkie stuff on the channel around here. I mean, look, there's stuff that is so scooped. I'm like, I don't know. Like, my telly doesn't know what to do with this.
That's the other thing too.
It's
You gotta have the good. You gotta have the
and
right
you gotta
guitars for it.
Yeah, and you got to be
Like this one?
Yeah, like that one. Exactly.
Like this into a Mark
Right.
7?
I mean, you could probably do it, but
yeah.
I feel like we may do that before the day's over.
It's
at
very
least-
possible.
At least put his phone mic into it and see what that sounds
Oh
like.
yeah. I probably don't plan on doing profiles with the pink phone mic.
Okay, so that we should
Metal
do that.
phone
We'll
hours.
save that. That'll be a Tone Junkie exclusive. So we'll save that. Let's. I have a question. What do you think could be coming next? Without knowing, what are you eyeballing? As a metal fan and a lover of tone, what are you eyeballing?
So
what you want to do?
One of the
next?
things I've been wanting to do for a long time, and this is purely for my own enjoyment, is to rebuy the Hughes and Kettner Triumph Mark I that I toured with.
Okay.
In East West.
Yeah.
They're becoming more and more rare.
Yeah.
I regret selling it when I did. Like, I should never have done that. It's a beast of an amp. It's a 3-channel amp.
Yeah.
So I'm for sure going to buy one of those. But I mean, there's so much other stuff. There's so much PV stuff that's so good.
Sure. The Triple X.
There's so much.
The JSX. I had a buddy who played a Joe Satriani signature. It's like a modified Triple X.
Oh, really?
That was modified for Joe before he went back to Marshall.
But
And
there's
it was a phenomenal sounding rock and roll amp.
Yeah.
It kicked the butt of every Marshall in the room.
Right.
And he would play rock.
Yeah.
And then we'd play church stuff.
Yeah.
He was like a real rocking guy, but some amps
There's
have tone, man.
definitely. I'm looking at, like, obviously we're gonna do a bunch of Mesa Boogie amps.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
we have to. The Transatlantic one, the obviously all the rectifiers. My only I'm not jumping at the chance to do a dual rectifier because I think there's like 3,001 profiles of all
sure.
of these that already exist.
Sure.
And quite honestly, a lot of them are really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the Mesa Barba ones would be great.
Yeah.
And there's probably some Friedman stuff
Yeah,
that
for
I'm
sure.
looking at. So
For
the
sure.
list is I remember when we first did it, I was like, here's a list. It took me like an hour.
I just saw that list like yesterday, and I was like, look at all those amps.
so many. The list is not short.
Yeah.
So
What's like the heaviest amp out there? Like, is there like a top of the gain food chain?
honestly, I'm surprised that I would be shocked if there was an amp that had more gain than the EVH amp. But I think the Randall Satan is
Appropriately named.
it's pretty up there. The Fortin Nameless amp that they just dropped like a bunch of plugins, I think.
What's the brand?
Fortin. Yep.
Never heard of it. I know you're shocked.
Yeah. That's like, I think it's the Meshuggah. I think it's the guitar player from Meshuggah that
Yeah.
uses that.
Yeah.
That's got, I mean, I don't know. It's what's crazy too. It's like when you get into the really, really high gain stuff, I think what makes it interesting. So like, okay, in like the normal Tone Junkie world, like edge of breakup,
Yes.
there's like this sweet spot you're looking for where it's like chimey and clean, but if you dig just a little bit in, you get like very good breakup. And then if you just go all out on a bridge pickup, it's like rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right? That's like
Yeah.
your sweet spot where it's like
Yeah.
it can kind of do all these things.
Yeah. But like take you to the dance rock and roll.
Exactly.
Not
No,
like
no, no.
steal your
Not
soul
metal.
rock and roll.
No,
Yeah, there
not
you go.
metal, just rock and roll.
And just so
Right?
so we all knew what we were
Right.
talking about. Good old wholesome
Safe rock and roll.
good old
Yeah.
wholesome like footloose let's dance rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
50s rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Church rock.
Come on, Sally, we're going to the sock hop. I don't care what your parents say.
Right.
Yeah. We'll be home by 10.
Yeah.
I feel like the equivalent of that for like ultra high, like high gain amps
Yes.
is it's got enough low end, but it's not boomy. But you've got enough like high end, but it's not shrill.
Yeah.
And then like, yes, it's scooped mids, but there's like good amount of like upper mids, and it just there's like there's like these sweet spots that you're trying to find where yes, the gain is part of it, but it's really just, and that's, you know, the whole gent thing, right? It's like, it has turned into a genre, but it's really not a genre.
Right.
But it's like, that's what people are looking for. It's like literally this sound of like a palm mute.
Any guitar that sounds like this is this genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of the genre.
But like, that's the sound. That's the sound you're looking for, where it's like the palm muting, just balls to the wall kind of chug stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, awesome. It's available at metaljunkystore.com, and go check it out. Can we put this one in the bag? Because we can do another one right now.
I think so.
So let's put it in the bag. This is episode 34
Love it.
of the Guitar Friends podcast. And
The Metal Junkie episode.
the Metal Junkie
And all
episode.
kinds of other random stuff.
all sorts. But we're gonna do another one because I have topics here that I wanna chat about. I want to get reactions. People, please put in the comments what you want to talk about. But coming up on the next episode.
So
Well, what
like,
should we talk about? Should we? I have something to bring up with Tonex and outselling Kemper on the Tone Junkie
to be
side.
continued.
So is this one over now?
Well, this one's gonna be over. Wait, I'm doing the sign.
Oh, it's just still in
We're
it?
still live.
Okay.
We're still live.
I take that back. Have the reverse
Can
of
you
that?
clap backwards,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I will reverse that.
Oh, that'd be good.
I'll tell you a funny story. One time we had these ESL students in our high school, and they would come and they would sit at this computer and they would do these English classes and whatever. The school was like short of on rooms, so they put one of these workstations for the ESL kids in the senior lounge, and their thought was, well, there's no seniors in the senior lounge during these periods. We can put an ESL kid in there, so only seniors in the senior lounge, but this ESL kid can just go in and do his ESL's English as a second language, if you don't know. So it was a bunch of kids who usually were born in another country and come here, and they were learning English, and they had this software, and for whatever reason, you could listen to a word, you could listen to it slowed down. It would phonetically show you how to spell it. It had a reverse button. Why? I don't know. I don't know how it would help you to pronounce a word by being able to hear it in reverse. But they had built this in. And so one day we're playing around with this software, and you could record your own word too. So we get the microphone and we're just messing around, and we'd watch a Simpsons episode, and there was an episode in The Simpsons where Homer gets Lisa's saxophone. He doesn't know how to play it. So he's just dancing around going, saxophone, saxophone. And I don't know why this is so funny, but we recorded saxophone into the software. And it came out. It's weird. Things in reverse don't sound like they would sound normally. And it just came out, wow, Thomas Goss. And we just lost it.
Wow.
We lost it. We were on the floor laughing, just dying. Teachers came in there like, "Are you okay?" And we couldn't respond. We were just laughing. Just laughing, dying. And for the next several years, we would just yell that out in a quiet room. Wow, Thomas Goss. It's just
What a great memory.
Right. Yeah.
so
I'm
good.
so happy for you.
So
that you
good.
have
I wasn't there, but I feel like I was there.
I'm-
It was a great, yeah. Anyway, so reverse. No famous guys. We can talk about that. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We can talk about social media. Which social media? Remember I said I was going to re-rank social medias and tell you which is the coolest one? Apart from.
I don't remember that.
No, I told you I was going to tell you that Facebook is low key the best social media now again. We also have we did worship pet peeves. I have politics here.
I think we did that one at
We
the
kind of
front.
did that one.
I don't want to do that one.
All right, we don't have to do that one. It's just we're getting so many comments
Right.
about us and who we're voting for.
Look, we live in Tennessee.
No, but it's not even fair, John. It's
Don't
not
tread
even
on me.
fair. Don't tread on me, bro. It's not even fair because it's these people who are just going. It's these people. This is the only thing I'm going to say about it. And if I find this at the end of the episode, maybe I'll be happy with this, or maybe I'll open the episode with this next thing. It's so. I'll open it with the next one. Okay, We'll open the next one with this.
Just wait.
This has been
To be
episode. You better
continued.
come back. If this
You
isn't a
better come back.
cliffhanger of an
Yeah.
ending, I don't know what is.
Wow.
I've been HW. This is episode 34. Not our best episode ever. That was 33.
Dude,
This one
33 is bonkers.
is in the bag.
Yeah.
All right, guitar friends.
Guitar
right.
friends.
Later.
See ya.